5:01.
Sorry, it was a little delayed.
Call the meeting to order 5:01 p.m. Roll call, Bruce Hegwer here. John Rump here.
Angela Godinez.
Okay, adoption of the agenda for tonight. Can I have a motion to adopt? John moves.
Second. Angela second.
Seconds, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of approving the agenda for tonight? Say aye. 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 Motion carries. Approval of minutes from the November 11th meeting.
Sorry, do you have a copy of the one for tonight?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just sitting over here lazy.
No, you're right. I didn't know. Thank you. So sorry.
I'd like to approve the minutes.
Angela will second.
John moves, Angela seconds. Any discussion, changes, anything on minutes? I didn't see anything. All right, hearing none, all in favor? All in favor? All in favor of approving the minutes? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Public comment, anybody online, Mr. Tully?
No, sir, there's no one online.
Finance update, Rebecca.
So tonight we have the finance update for November. No budget adjustment request tonight, so we just are gonna go ahead and go into the check listing. So checks that went out for both payroll and accounts payable for the month of November total $324,000.
We have a motion to approve the payroll accounts payable payment vouchers. Angela moves.
John Rump second.
John seconds. Any discussion, questions? Hearing none, all in favor of approval of the payroll and accounts payable payment vouchers as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Financial statement reports.
So here we have our statement of revenues and expenditures, including the check balance. So basically the income statement for the school by fund. So today for the operational fund, we received about 1.5 million, we spent about 1.3. And then we can see food service. We have more revenue that we've kind of received to date of some of this revenues from last fiscal year. So that we got in current fiscal year, but in food service, we've received about 57,000 between the two funds and then paid out about 61,000. And then Idea B, also some of this is from last fiscal year, but you can kind of just see what we've received and spent across each fund. And then we are still waiting for the lease assistance to be to receive that award, and then we have our property tax revenue that we've collected to date. So operational cash liquidity, we're at a little over 7 months for the end of November. And then we have our actual expenditures. So 64% to date has gone to compensation and benefits. So the largest overall expense for the school. Here's just our account summary report. So what we have budgeted versus what we have received to date for revenue. And then for expenditures as well. And then we have the property tax revenues that collected through the end of November. About 3.6 million, and we're still projecting to receive about in cash, we have 3.6 million, and then by the end, we're expected to have about 3.9 million. And then the bank reconciliation, everything paid out. And then our list of outstanding checks. And then the vacancy. That's
Thank you.
Any questions, comments? Looks good to me. Thank you. Anything else financially, Rebecca?
No.
Okay. Executive session. Personnel and capital matters, excuse me. I'd like your consideration for the approval to adjourn to executive session pursuant to section 1015 1H8 for the purpose of the discussion of limited personnel matters and for the purpose of the discussion of the purchase, acquisition, or disposal of real property or water rights by the public body. Can I have a motion?
John Brown, motion to move that the governance council of Corrales International School convene in closed session to discuss limited personnel matters related to staffing and discussion of the purchase, acquisition, or disposal of real property as authorized by section 10-15-1 of the New Mexico Meetings Act.
You have a second?
Angela will second.
Angela seconds. It's been moved and seconded to go into closed session. Roll call vote. Bruce, yes.
John, yes.
Okay, we are now in closed session.
Okay, let me pause this.
We have a motion to come out of closed session.
Motion to move that the governance council reconvenes in an open session and that all matters discussed in the closed session were limited to those specified in the motion for closure.
You have a second.
Angela will second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to come out of closed session. Roll call vote. Bruce, yes.
John, yes.
Angela, yes.
Thank you. Head of school, Mr. Tolliver.
Actually, Angela made me put this on the agenda. She didn't make me, but it made me realize I should. So it seems to me, I've always figured if people don't have anything to really complain about and they want to complain, they kind of look at communication. My first 3 or 4 evaluations by the board here, it's always like, well, you need to do a little better with communication. So, well, how? What does that mean? I don't, So Angela came to me and said, well, the 6th grade parents had a social media thing going on, a chat, and we're talking about how bad the communication was and all that. And her co-parent had mentioned he wasn't getting things and we didn't do a good job. And what is this international night we had and all this? Well, fortunately, I was able to go back and we have a system where we send out our announcements and I can tell when people get our messages and whether they open them or not. And so I can see all that. So in this case, he had opened it, but for whatever reason, it wasn't enough. So we went back and looked at the communication that we sent on our international night. And out of the 400 and some emails we sent, we had 6 that didn't get through. And as we looked at it, it turned out that these people had blocked us. That doesn't mean it was on purpose because it was people that have been here a while. They might have not known they blocked us or whatever, but we were able to send out some communication and say, hey, you're blocked if you didn't know and all that. Then we looked at the text and there was about 45% people not getting them. And it's like, well, what's wrong there? Why aren't these people getting it? Well, with our system, you have to opt in to get texts. And we had sent out 2 communications at the beginning of the year telling people, you need to opt in to get this communication. A bunch of people hadn't. So, but they were complaining they weren't getting them. So we sent out another communication, said, you need to opt in so you can get these. So, we had a couple families say, well, we came to school Thursday morning, like on time, and nobody was here. Well, I sent it text, we sent an email, I put it through all three networks. It was on all three networks with the school delays, and it all went out. And this next time, if we have another one, I don't normally like to do it because people hate it, but I'm going to make the calls too. We have a system on there that'll do calls and read a message and tell people. I'm thinking about 4:45 in the morning or so, because
Gotta get them in time.
but anyway, that's kind of where we are in communication. We did have a couple problems, but we're making it better. Now let's see if I can do this. I want to show you my screen here and show you something. Let's see.
Can you make that system to where instead of them opting in, they have to opt out? They get it automatically unless they opt out.
I will ask, but I'm not sure it works that way. I'll find out.
So I'm not trying to compare us to public schools because I think this is a better option. But from the elementary school, I guess is what I'm hearing. But they were getting weekly updates from the principal. I don't know how much time you have on your hands or how much time you can dedicate, or if you have someone that could do that. And it seems like a little much, but is over communication better than, not that I don't think we got the, because you even told me when the email went out and I was able to look it up too, and I had the date and the time on it. But people were still saying that they felt like they
Some
didn't
of
have
that
enough information.
communication I saw was that they had no idea that, and I think we rely a lot on kids to bring home messages. Jack doesn't, I'll guarantee that. But I think there was some concern about, they didn't know they had to go buy some kind of dress or color or whatever.
Well, and when I talked to
Teacher.
some of those parents and stuff, it wasn't the school's communication they were worried about. It was the teachers,
Yeah.
which I've talked to her, and she's young and she doesn't like conflict. And some of our parents are very forceful when they don't get what they want. But I've told her, I said, look, you've got to be in charge of this class. You're the teacher, but you also have to communicate with the parents. And if they get nasty with you, you tell me and I'll take care of that. But you have to start communicating better. And she didn't. And I understand her thinking, but she's young. She doesn't have kids. So her thinking was, look, I put this on the kids to put this together, what they wanted to do, what they needed. This was part of their project, which I'm great with. But they come home late and say, Mom, I need a kimono by tomorrow, and that caused the problem. I said, you can say that, you can make those kids work, but you have to understand that they're not going to
They're still
communicate.
kids.
Had several science fairs like that.
So you still have to communicate with the parents and let them know.
She's awesome.
She's a great
My
teacher.
kid's not even.
No, she's a great teacher, but like I said, she's a little green about this. And, it's hard because our parents are different than public school parents. Because most of the public school parents I see, they won't march into the principal's office, anything. And a lot of times in APS, when they do, she's not here this week. You can make an appointment next week sometime and come back. For me, it's like, you got a problem, call me, come in, whatever. And it's a different, charter school parents have technically already left school because they're not going to their home public school. And a lot of times I get parents that I don't like the color of that wall. I think we're going to be looking for a school. And it sounds silly. Sometimes it's like that. We didn't get a call, so I don't like this. So we're going to pull our kids. And I get that threat all the time. We're pulling our kids. Why? Well, we're not getting communicated enough in the 6th grade. Well, how's everything else? Well, it's good, but no, I don't know. That's another thing where we have to sell our program a little better, I think. And, make people understand what we do differently and why they're here. They should know why they're here, but I'm not sure sometimes they do. It goes back to calling somebody and say, hey, you got in, to the kindergarten, which is really tough. And they say, oh, that's great. What does your school do again? They shotgun out applications. And, oh, yeah, we're excited, we're coming. And then you never see them again because they decided sometime in the summer they were going somewhere else. So, but normally, a lot of those parents say, what do you do? It's like, well, why did you apply here? Oh, it's smaller. That's not the best reason to come here. Yeah, it is, but the program we do, the dual language, the IB, in the older grades, this program, the PLTW, the biomedical, I mean, those are the reasons. So, but we need to do a little better, and I'm going to kind of talk about that now, I think, with this Vertex education. All right, let's see, I don't do this very often, so let me see how I bring this. Oh, Rebecca, I'm going to have to steal your. Oh, there it is. There's that. All right, it should come briefly. There it is. I'm going to cheat and just minimize this. Oh, I can't do that. Okay.
That's a share screen.
Yeah, I just need to find out. Oh, there it is. Boom. All right, I need to bring up what I need to bring up first. So let's go here, I think. No, that's not what I want.
Just do content.
All right, let's see now if I can. Sorry, I should have been a little bit more ready for this. No, that's not going to do it. All right, let me just see if I can do that. There, that'll work. Get rid of that and bring this up. All right, so Rebecca had recommended these people to me. It's actually the people that she works with her own business, Vertex Education. They basically work with schools and they do a lot of different things. They provide a lot of different services. But what we're looking for is somebody to help us with our marketing and actually getting more students and getting prepared to move and bring more kids in. So, don't know how I did this last time. I think there was a hook. Oh, it is a hook. Nice job, cowboy.
National finals this week.
Sorry, I died there.
Okay, good enough. All right. Now, when we were talking, Rebecca, I just touched it and it went down. Maybe. There we go. So anyway, I met with these people. We talked what they heard about our school, our strengths, roots in the community, our dual language immersion, the IB program, college credit options. The community perception is positive. And I always tell people this is one of the reasons we need to get word out is say, hey, where do you work? I said, Corrales International. And they say, I heard that's a great school. But that's all they know. They don't know why. They don't know much more about it.
This ties into the question that Joseph asked me at the meeting we had. He said, and in the realm of IB schools here in Albuquerque, where does Corrales International fit? And that, I mean, that's not, I have no idea. I don't know how many IB schools there are, whether they're K-12 or just primary. I mean, the folks mainly on the primary program or the mid and the primary. So
We're the only
Great
K-12.
question. That's what I found. I did a little research that said,
And we were also the first designated World Schools IB schools. Well, I guess at the primary, yeah. The PYP and MYP, I think we were the first ones in the state. So, and there's been some since then. There's some we've worked with and some we don't, but yeah.
I think there's just 4 or 5 IB schools in Albuquerque.
And they're not as well established.
Yeah. There's New Mexico International. There is Cienaguas kind of is an international, sort of.
They never followed through with the IB part.
There's the international school at Mesa del Sol,
Sandia High School.
Sandia High School, and Cottonwood's got a small diploma program. They're not necessarily an IB school, but they run an IB smaller program. So,
So
yeah.
but that's a selling point for us.
I talked to him a little bit about the possibility of a new campus and moving, which is why we're, talking about this. Current buildings restricted, no grass playground or traditional school look. The location in a business district reduces drive-by visibility, community presence. Do the immersion model. It's very difficult to enroll students after 2nd grade. That's not what we talked about. That's not what I told him. I said we don't take kids after 8th grade. I said we up through 6th grade we have no problem enrolling kids. There's attrition at 6th and 9th because that's where kids go into middle and also high school. Although we get a lot back at 6th, not so much at 9th because of our program. And we don't really have a dedicated marketing professional or anybody on the team that does that stuff. We're all educators. And then successes we've had, we talked about, they talked about who they are. They've been around since 2007. They have about 400 people working in this side of the business. They have 400 schools nationwide that serve about 258,000 students. They want to be the premier partner for any school, deliver innovative solutions for any problem. They do human resources, talent acquisition, marketing, food services, IT, and of course, for us through Rebecca's group, the finance, accounting, and payroll. So we technically already work with them. So they talked about what they do for school marketing and, the growing numbers growing enrollment is about numbers. It's about getting our name out there and sharing our story. They have a lot of experience in this. Here's some other schools they've helped. the type of marketing they do, brand messaging, high impact creative assets, conversion focused website, which is something we've talked about here. We've worked on it some, but once again, we don't have the time or anybody with the real know-how to just go in there and start recreating our website. Targeted advertising and social media presence. So these are the type of experts you would need to do a lot of this stuff, and they show that if you hired a SEO specialist to do website, ramped it up so families find you first, that's somebody who makes about $60,000 a year, a brand strategist about $75,000, digital ads manager about $70,000, web designer, developer, social media manager. So total about $325,000 to hire all those people, which of course we wouldn't do anyway, but and then they've got a couple of different options in what they do. The first one is just kind of an essential: Google, Facebook ads, social media boosts, email templates for lead nurturing, basic brand messaging, templated creative assets, mailers and such. And then the marketing leadership has got a lot of other things that come into it. Graphic and video support, working on our online reviews. They talked about, and I'd never even thought about this. I guess that's why I'm not in marketing, but 5-6 years ago, we had a few students that were upset because they got in trouble and they sat out at lunch on their phones really sneakily and wrote reviews in some of the websites about how bad it was. And, there's a drug problem here. And I mean, it took us years to kind of get some of those off. They say you need to have like an event where we get parents to sit down and write a review about the school. And I never really thought about actually having an event where we get people to come in and sit down and write reviews and have a drive to write reviews. Sounds like it's a very natural thing now, but content calendar, website, man. Anyway, all the different things they do. And this is what I really wanted to share about you. It's what Rebecca and I have been talking about today. This is more of the same thing, though. What Vertex does, and then they switch between what they do and add and print costs for things. But basically, this is what, and they took New Mexico's numbers, kind of an average, but 20 kid enrollment gain would mean about an extra 200,000 for the school in a year. And over 5 years, that'd be 1,040,000, 450, 500,000. So, and I kind of told them what we're looking at as far as adding a kindergarten, maybe a first, and pushing the older grades, and what we were looking at maybe adding. And this is basically what it would look like. Basically, for the essentials one, a total investment over a year would be between 40 and 44,000. It would be a Vertex service, which would be about $2,000 a month, and then an ad and print budget. And then the leadership one, which would be around 60 to 64,000, and we would get the whole deal about 4,000 a month, and then a ad print budget of between 12 and 16,000. We have the money. If we are going to move into this new building, this is the time to do something like that. The other thing with this is you can sign a year agreement for 12 months, but if you want to do 4 months and stop it and then restart it in 2 months or something, you can do. So if we started this spring and went through like August and then stopped and started again when we did the next year's registration and the next year's application online, then we could do that. We could do another section. So this is kind of what I'm looking at. I wanted to show you what I'm looking at. The difference in some of the things we've done before, like we did some TV ads, we did some print ads. We had a lady whose son went here that had a little ad agency, and she did some things for us. None of those people had ever specifically worked for schools, and Vertex does, and they hit it all. So it's not piecemealing. And Rebecca said there's just probably one other school in New Mexico they've worked with, but and it was an online school, and I guess they were pretty successful pretty quickly. So
Yeah, I think like they got them 400 There wasn't a since the time we worked with them, which was the beginning of July.
Well, if we've got the money, 10,000 kids, 6 kids, increase our enrollment, 6 kids pays for itself.
Should this be tied to whether or not we get that building?
Probably not, but I think the direction of where we're going to take this will be tied to whether we get the building or not. We're still going to need kids. And I think this would help us regardless. But, and you know, if we stay here another year, maybe we look at putting in a portable to go ahead and increase a couple of classes anyway, which I can work with APS on a portable, or two. And they're not, you know, people look at portables and they go, oh my God, you're doing that. But, you know, RFK was nothing but a portable park when they helped them. And once you were in those classrooms, you didn't know you were outside in a portable. They were well done, and that's right. Me too. But anyway, I just wanted to tell you this is what we've been discussing, and I think it's a really good possibility for us. I think it'll fit in with what we're trying to do. And, you know, make money, you got to spend a little bit. And I've always been hesitant, which I think is why we've kind of piecemealed things.
Need a motion for it?
No,
I'm very excited.
good.
The
Good.
website.
I wanted to show you, I mean, we don't need a vote on it because it's really not your decision, it's more mine, but it is ours. You know what I'm saying? Legally, I mean, you guys hire and fire me, so if you don't like it, you can fire me. But I want you to share in all this because I think it's a good idea, and it makes me happy that you think it is too. Because I've had boards in the past going, no, it's a lot of money, but yes and no. If it gets us 40 kids, it pays for itself. So
Great school and to just be recognized for it and to bring kids in for it. I'm excited.
yeah, I'll never understand exactly what happened and why it happened last year, but I've still got people that are bringing their kids here that still patches, and I don't understand that either.
It's a great school.
And you know, and Bruce was standing there with that grandmother and the aunt or whatever came up, and they'd been in kindergarten. Man, they were just nothing but happy. They just loved it. And I still had some people going out like, we don't like this much. We should go switch it back to the spring. I said, we didn't say we're canceling the spring. Right now, this is just an ad. We just added this in for the you know, holiday times. So, oh, I didn't know that. Well, I said, I don't know what's going to happen this spring. We're moving. We probably won't do an international day, but we might. I mean, we'll see how things go. It's killing our testing, though. We're going to have to figure out that because the focus has been on doing an international day when it should be on taking those state mandated tests and doing well. Yeah. So
It's good.
that's all that.
I think there's some merit in building this. You know, getting a waiting list established. Because you look at some of these other schools that have huge waiting lists, people say, oh, they must be a great school because they have all these families want to send their kids there. Maybe we can try and get our kid in there too.
You know, we've always had good waiting lists. We still do at the lower grades, but there was a time when we'd have 400 for kindergarten, and now we'll have 150, 160. But see, the other thing that works against us is we only have 20 spots, and then half those are going to be taken up with siblings. So when you have 150 people apply and there's only 10 spots, after a few years of that, people are going, well, nobody ever gets in there, so let's stop. So if we get the building, it can double that and then go. And you know, if we get to the point where we're trending like that and we can roll over those classes and stuff and it trends that way, what the next principal does or the next board or whatever, if they want to look at a new building in 7, 8, 10 years, or if they want to add on to that, well, that's great. I just want to put us on the path. And I think this would go perfectly. Yeah, if we could do this in conjunction with getting a new building and have that in our ads and say this is yeah, I think that'll be,
I like that we can
Okay.
break up how we utilize it too, without losing.
yeah. Yeah. And they seem to know what they're doing. So,
If not, we know. Who to go to.
Or Rebecca.
the only thing I have in addition tonight is just a short update about a couple things. We did have the, I called it the International, exhibition, because it wasn't really like the day. It wasn't really International Day, but it went really well. And we started at 4, and about 4:05, I'm thinking, oh man, snow day this morning. It's gonna get dark here in a few minutes. And it was packed. I mean, we packed them in, and for the most part, it was all pretty positive.
That's
Um,
great.
there's a few people that complained about not having the one in the spring, and that was better, or they liked it better or something. And then um, there's still a few, parents just
It's like a girl.
taking notes. And I tell you what, the Disney Academy people, Lisa and Lori there, man, they sold a ton of stuff. There was still people 6:20s trying to sit in there and still eat. It's, come on, you got to go home. Cowboys are starting here, so I got to get you out of here. Which I wish I'd have stayed here. Um, but they made good money for the Disney Academy, and then we ended up selling more the next day, just to parents that came in, and teachers and stuff, like $1 a hot dog and $2 a piece of pizza. And at the end, they were giving it away so they didn't have to, because they bought a whole bunch, but they made their money back and more. So, um, and let's see, we'll be testing this rest of this week and into next, and then we'll be out for a couple of weeks, and we have a training day on the 5th, and kids will be back on the 6th. And as soon as I hear anything on the building, I will let you guys know.
We did meet with Joseph and what's her name, Rebecca Vasquez.
Roberta.
About the
Roberta,
letter.
yeah. Meeting went real well. I think it was more of a formality for them than anything else. They didn't have anything really negative to say here.
Well, and I got to
I
express
think
my,
Rebecca taught
yeah, and I got to express my displeasure in how it was worded and how it sounded, because that wasn't the truth. And Joseph's supposed to send me a letter clarifying that, which I haven't seen yet, but I'll push him on it. So
it was real good. Mark did a nice job. Rebecca did a nice job.
thank you. It's not our first rodeo. What really blew me away about the whole thing is that you've got the head of charter school finance in the charter school department, APS, and she's never seen a 910B5 before.
I know.
And then I thought, well, why would anybody share those? I mean, it would almost have to be the schools share them with her, because the state's probably not going to just send her a copy. So, but now she knows it's there and kind of how to look at it.
Submit our budget to APS as well.
We do submit it to her, so she has a copy of the 910. I think. I don't think she's ever to know how it.
And it to advise.
Yeah, they've got access, but in the day-to-day things, I mean, she just took the number of students, multiplied it by the money we get, and said, well, and that's not how it works. So
We're good.
we're good. We got another one today, but it was about a corrective action plan. But as I read the letter, I realized it wasn't our corrective action plan. If they want some responses because of their corrective action plan. The state's got APS under a few of those. So CTE and next step plans and a few other things. So, but that's all I got.
Should we adjourn? Just a couple moments. There's a guy in my neighborhood, moved in, he's been there a year. I never met him till the other day. He's a retired college professor out of West Virginia. And he was a science educator, professor, so he taught teachers how to teach science primarily to elementary school teachers. He's interested in becoming a board member. We're still looking for somebody.
We are.
Great.
Could he
If y'all
come?
don't mind, I'll invite him to the next board meeting.
Yeah.
I'll ask him to give me his resume, submit it to you.
Do you
Seems
know?
to be a nice guy. I don't know a whole lot about it.
Do you know where in West Virginia?
No, I don't. I didn't ask.
I'll have to ask. That's where my parents are from. So
No, I didn't ask him, but he seems like a nice guy. He's moved into our housing complex. His mother had a house there and she passed away. He retired. He's moved out.
that sounds good.
Any movement on Adam?
I haven't got back to him. I mean, I sent him a letter, didn't hear, and then I sent him a email. So I need to call him, but I like this, and I don't know whether he'd be interested or not since he's an APS guy now. Isn't he working for an APS school?
Well, he was interested.
Okay, I'll call him too. I mean, in a perfect world, we'd have 7 instead of 5, but
I'll see if this guy was really serious, but he sounded
Yeah.
serious.
okay, invite him and I'll talk to Adam too.
That's all. Ready for a motion to adjourn now?
Motion to adjourn.
And wait a second.
All in favor?
Right.
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.